Hello everyone, this is Adrian Howard with Weather Rampage, and I continue to bring you live coverage of Tropical Storm Florence as it continues to move into South Carolina and is bringing some widespread impacts into the Carolinas as far as flooding is concerned. And this storm has become a catastrophe, and it continues to become a catastrophe as far as flooding is concerned. But I want to show you the stats here. I want to show you the stats here on the storm as it continues to move into areas of the Appalachian Mountains. As you can see here, the storm is now tropical depression. It's now tropical depression, no longer a tropical storm. Florence, Sunday, September 16, 2018, 5 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time, advisory 68, National Weather Service, National Hurricane Center. Winds are at 35 miles per hour, and it's moving west at 8 miles per hour. So this storm is picking up a little bit more speed and a little bit more momentum as there is a storm system to its northwest that is beginning to pick it up. And it will accelerate this storm out to sea, and this storm will move into the Canadian Maritimes and into Europe and away from the Americas. And we will breathe a sigh of relief here in the Carolinas as this storm moves out. But this storm has already caused 15 deaths, and that's not good at all. 15 deaths from this storm. And I want to show you some pictures here. As you can see here, this is what the flooding looked like in areas of the Carolinas with that storm surge, and also with very heavy rainfall. As you can see here, that rainfall comes halfway up this little shed that was here. So, and you can see a sign here. I want to show you here. You can see a sign also right there. So that water came up almost over that sign. So that's over 10 inches of, that's over 10 feet. That's actually that's about 9 feet of water there. So don't let that fool you, but that's like 9 feet of water from this storm. And here's another picture showing you how the winds were powerful as well as it came ashore. Not a category 4 strength, but 100 mile per hour winds, 90 to 100 mile per hour winds, even though that's category 1 strength for a hurricane, can cause this kind of damage. And this is somewhere probably in Wilmington, North Carolina, where a tree was snapped in half, as you can see there. So some very strong winds with this hurricane. Here's a satellite image of what Florence looked like way over 100 hours ago, before it got to the Carolinas, and you can see how that eye wall was just very pronounced when it was a major hurricane, very dangerous and major hurricane. You see how that eye wall is pronounced, and it was going to potentially be a monster as far as the winds was concerned also. But thankfully, thank God it did not. But right here, you can see boats as they look like they're kind of capsized from the flooding and from the winds and the storm surge. And there's a boat, you can see this boat here overturned, and other boats on top of each other as the water and wind push them ashore or either on top of each other. So just showing you the dangers of how a hurricane can do certain things as far as wind and as far as flooding with boats and cars and everything else. But you can see here flooding as that water, you can see here, looks like more freshwater flooding from the storm instead of storm surge. But that can be a catastrophe as well. And that's becoming more of a catastrophe right now as people are drowning in floodwaters. And you can see that water comes up to his knees there. That guy that's pushing this boat. And you see there, this is a water rescue, kind of like a water rescue out of their home as the floodwaters have inundated their home. These gentlemen and their dog. And here's another satellite view of what Hurricane Florence looked like a couple of hours ago when it made landfall here in Wilmington, North Carolina. And as you can see, it was still kind of a storm that had some organization to it, but the storm slowed down when it got to this point. And that's true color satellite imagery showing you what the storm looked like then. So some amazing images of that storm. And here's another image of a guy with his foot in the water, or his legs in the water, however you want to say it, sitting down, and that water comes pretty high. This is not as high as the other areas that I showed you, but that's pretty high. That's probably over his ankles, probably halfway up his leg. So that's pretty major. Here's another water rescue showing how things have been in the Carolinas, rescuing this gentleman out of floodwaters that had crutches. So some water rescue's been going on. As you can see, there's another water rescue. And that water is very deep there. That looks like more like storm surge and freshwater flooding combined there. As you can see, these individuals are getting away. They're getting out on the boat. And that's been the scene pretty much along the coastline as this storm has continued to move inland. And as you can see, look at that. That house is inundated by flood waters. So this storm has become a catastrophe as far as flooding is concerned. Winds not so much, but winds have caused power outages. But I want to show you something. There's another image of a individual trying to go through flood waters in the morning hours here in Wilmington, North Carolina. So this is this storm, and there's a tree also that fell into this house. As you can see here, from the winds over 90 to 100 miles an hour knocked this tree over into this home and killed this mother and her child, which is very sad news. But this is what the storm has caused here, everyone. This was no mediocre storm, even though it weakened to a Category 1 storm. It still caused major damage and major destruction as far as flooding is concerned. So it's just a major catastrophe here, and it continues to unfold here. But I want to show you here, as you can see, look at these areas. This is the rainfall total accumulation amounts. I wanted to show you this. This is just astronomical, everyone. You can look at that. The white represents 15 inches. And you see Jacksonville, North Carolina, you are in 15 inches of water. That is a catastrophe. That is major. You can see Wilmington, North Carolina, 15 inches of water. Look at that. I go to the 12-inch gauge. You can see here Wilmington is covered in that. Lumberton is covered in that. Just east of Lumberton, there's over 15 inches of rain. And some of these areas in white have over 15 inches of rain. And Fayetteville, as you see, you got 10 inches of rain. And even as far as Rockingham and Hamlet, North Carolina, you've gotten 8 inches of rain. Let me zoom into that area. This is where I used to live at, everyone. This is where I grew up, my hometown. And thank God everybody's safe there. But as you can see here, Rockingham, 8 inches of rain. 6 inches, Rockingham, 6 inches. Now getting into the 8-inch range in Hamlet and Rockingham. So, and Laurinburg getting into 10 inches also. So, a major flooding event occurring with this storm as it continues to move off to the north and west. But I also want to show you what it looks like on radar right now, the radar reflectivity. As you can see here, a lot of rain and thunderstorms continue to spiral around this tropical depression Florence, as it continues to move to the northwest. As you can see, this rain is not really moving much or going anywhere. So flash flooding is going to be imminent with this storm as it continues to move to the north and west. And also, you need to be watching out for tornadoes. Also, as this storm circulates around on the northeastern quadrant of this storm, this is where tornadoes usually happen. In storms is the northeastern or the southeastern quadrants of a tropical system. And if you need to be watching this area as I draw this area here from Union County over to Richmond County, all the way up to Sanford and the Fayetteville metro area. You need to watch this area for tornadoes. As a possibility as this system continues to move in. So tornado threat could be increasing here as this backside of the storm system is wrapping around this area. So I will keep you updated. This is your report on Tropical Storm Florence as it continues to be a catastrophe as far as flooding is concerned. I will keep you updated and I'll let you know what's going on as far as, whatever's going on. But over 700,000 people are without power here in the Carolinas alone. So that is major, and I will let you know what is the status of that as I continue to update you on the storm on the next video. All right, take care, everyone. Stay safe out there from floodwaters.